Well, hey, this is Jerry with What's Broke Today. Today it's not really what's broke, it's what he wanted made. So we're doing fabrication today that got the it's a Cub Cadet Recon ZeroTurn that he's getting ready for to do leaves. And on his other mower he had before this, I had made him a plate to block off where the grass comes out so he can kind of munch the leaves up or mulch them. And so we started out with a piece of 1/8-inch thick steel. This was, I cut it 14.5 inches long and 6 inches high. And then of course the deck here comes back and has a curve. So, and of course I should have got the camera out, and when I bent the plate should have videotaped that. Because see, I bent it and got it where it pretty much matches the curve of the deck. And then I'm gonna, it's gonna stick up above about 1 inch. And then this, I cut this where it'll match that curve as well. And I'm gonna end up taking that and welding it here on the inside, which will help stiffen the plate up. And I've got another one to weld down here on the bottom to strengthen it up, and then one to go in the front that's going to take up our gap here. And basically I started out with a piece of course it's 1/8 inch, I think they call it hot rolled steel, so it's a mild steel, really easy to bend. And it was actually 8 inches wide, and I cut off 2 inches, and that's how I made these two pieces that are going to go on the top and the bottom. And then I'll get around, and I've already got holes here in the top of the deck, so I'm going to get some pieces of angle iron that I can drill and bolt down there, and probably end up making it where I may bolt it down. I'll probably end up go ahead and welding these on and make these permanent, and then I'll hinge it, and I'll show you when I get them made. But I'll weld pieces on here, a flat bar that'll stick out a little bit, and we'll have that and bolts, and that way he can, which I should zoom out, so, but he'll have this down like so, and then he'll be able to flip it up and over, so it'll kind of be up, side down, when he wants to let the grass come out without stopping up the hole. So let's take I'm gonna pause and we'll go over to the press. Now, when I was bending that piece of steel, I started out with this piece, which is started out as a piece of a bracket that you welded on a trailer, and it stuck down farther and had holes in it for the springs to mount to. And I cut it off to use it for other things, but I set that down right straight underneath my ram, and then I laid this up against the mower deck and made a mark kind of where I wanted the bend to start, and I just lined this up underneath. I actually started out back here by my bend and just laid a socket in there, and then just used the press to push down and curve it a little. Let off, and I just moved it a little bit and did the same thing again, and repeated that process of just slowly moving this around till I got to the end, and then took this over and from time to time laid it up against the mower deck to check my curve. And then a few times, I laid it on the ground and stepped on it and flattened it out. And then I actually had it in the vise in there for a little bit. I put this in the vise and then took and just kind of pulled on this and hit this with I have my big dead blow hammer to massage my curve till I got it where I wanted it. Right, and then after I got had this up here and I had the, you know, the shape where I wanted it. Now I got too many things sitting here. Take a C-clamp and come up here at the back and kind of hold it, and then I can take my hammer, because I need to shift the whole thing forward a little. Oh, and see, I didn't have the clamp tight enough, so that's a little too low. And what I need is, you know, this has to be almost even with the front edge of the deck. So I just will put my thumb up there and then just hit it back there as I push it forward. And then here on the back edge, I need the very bottom just a little bit lower than the edge of the mower deck. And likewise up here at the front, I want it just below. So that way when I take this piece and I put, which it's going to go on the bottom, but when I lay it up here, you know, want to have it where I can, you know, tack it, and I'll pull it off and finish welding it off the machine. And then I can take this piece and lay it in here and get it lined up. And then when I weld this on and this on, this will help keep my curve here from him knocking that out. And then of course I got a piece, this piece is going to go in the front, and basically there's a gap here, and that's just going to, I mean, finish things off up there. And then I'll take stuff like this corner, before I weld it on, because I'm not going to run the camera while I'm welding, I'm going to round this top corner off so it's not sharp. And I'll probably, when I trim this back here, and I'll probably round that corner. So I'm going to get ready and do some welding, then we'll come back to the video. Alright, now I got see, I come back here and I just did some tacks to hold it together. You know, here on this front piece I did a little bit more, but got it up on there, and I got the bottom piece started tacked. And now I'm gonna start making the hinges next and get everything for those fabricated, and then I'm gonna cut them out of some thicker steel, probably 3/16, and probably pieces are probably 1 inch by 2 inch. And then we'll start working on that up here on top. Now to make my hinges, basically I took my 3/16 steel, I cut a long bar, and then took about half of that to make the other half of the hinge, drill a 5/16 hole through both pieces, and since I got this little lip here, I got this just slightly offset, and then I'll put this down, and I clean the paint off here and here. I'll lay that down, get it where I want it, and then I'll tack it front and back, and then tack it onto the door. And I got the one that goes on the back, and I'll do the same thing back here. And then I'll take everything off, and I'll finish welding it up. But you know, the makeup of the hinges, like I say, my 2 pieces of steel, and this is about 1 inch by almost probably 1 3/4, and this is almost 1 inch square on that side. 5/16 bolt, a nylock nut on one side, and I got flat washer on both outside and in between the two, and that way you can adjust the tension on the bolt to make a friction fit, so when they go to open this door up, there'll be a little resistance, and it will keep it from just plopping and falling back down. Okay, well, I got my hinges welded on, and I did a bead on both sides of this piece going onto the deck, and then got all around in here, you know, for all my connections. That ain't super pretty, but I'm down, you know, crossing around, and a little spot there. Now, of course, I'll probably take this back off, but like where this rotates, you got to almost make it horseshoe shaped so that when it'll rotate all the way around and it clears. And then I need to knock a little bit off right here, because when before I get all the way around, I'm hitting on this corner. So I'll just take my angle grinder and I'll just, you know, mill a little bit of that off. He doesn't want it painted, so we're not going to worry about taking it off and painting it. That I imagine he's going to paint it himself, but I mean, and this is on a Cub Cadet that, depending on how your opening is out here on the front, well, I can't move the camera around, but you know, like say this having the curve, you know, I did this, but you could easily have made that straight and then just squared it off and welded something like what I put in the front here. You could have done the same thing back here to line up with that. You know, just whatever your preference is. And then of course you see I got our curve cut here and all the way around on this one. And welded in good. And then I use the bolts for friction, so wherever I stop this, it'll stay. And then when we close it, yeah, we get her all the way shut. And I mean, not 100% perfect seal, but pretty dang close. And a little bit more massaging, and I can probably get it closing a little better, because I think this is hitting right here. So we may buzz that just a little and smooth this up. But yeah, that's our mower deck block off so now he can mulch his leaves. Well, so I hope this video helps you on building a block off plate if you decide to make one for your mower. That comes in handy. A lot of guys want to mulch up their leaves, and you have something that they actually don't make a plastic cover or a factory item for it. That, you know, doing my, I don't know, design, as you'd call it, works really well. That I've done quite a few of them and most of them are commercial lawn service guys, and they use them for a couple reasons: leaves, and also when they're mowing in places where they don't want to blow grass up on sidewalks and patios. Like one guy does a lot of mowing in a trailer park, so he keeps that closed when he's mowing in between the trailers so he don't blow grass up against the skirting or into flower beds and stuff like that. So I appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed the video, give me the thumbs up for a like. Feel free to leave comments, and I appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. Have a great day.